Buying from a legal dispensary is important to me because I know those products are tested. I know those products are safe, that they've gone through rigorous testing to get to that shelf space.
All right. Welcome to Twax Talk, the podcast dedicated to the heady side of the cannabis industry. Today, I'm here with my co-host, James, and we're going to be talking about why we choose to shop at legal licensed cannabis dispensaries. James, why don't you kick us off?
Well, sounds good. Now, in this day and age, and with the world as it is, the Farm Bill as it is, this is as of early 2025 is when we're putting this down. So it's what we'll be speaking to today. It's interesting. In a lot of states, even some states, legal markets, some people choose to buy their products online. Now, there's a lot of speculation on why that is, but I can understand the angles and positions of convenience, paying with credit card. You don't want to leave your house. You can have everything delivered. Put it on a subscription service. Why don't you? Well, that's good and all, but as someone who's made more cannabis products than I can even possibly remember at this point, I still definitely go to dispensaries. I really do. I live in downtown Denver. It's really great. I have access to dispensaries, a large variety of dispensaries. And, it is a bit more hassle. I got to go to a store. I have to physically get cash, for the most part.
Unless they take debit.
Which is some great places. I hope that keeps expanding. If any dispensaries are listening, please let us keep taking debit. They're shutting down ATMs everywhere. I swear there's something out there now where it's harder and harder to find an ATM. That's at least with your bank and those kind of things. And I get it. It's a digital move away from money. However, we're stuck in a place where we got to use cash. We're stuck in a place where debit card systems are expensive and difficult to operate and difficult to track. So it makes sense for a lot of places to simply accept cash. That being said, when I consume a product, I need to know what it's going to do to me. I really do. I live an active life. I've got things to do, people to see, hands to shake, and I can't be taking a risk on a product that isn't tested to the degree that I understand in the regulated market. It's kind of almost counterintuitive to me to be using cannabis for wellness and for, mind enhancement and all those type of things where it's just shooting in the dark. I mean, we did that for a long time. Hell, remember back in the day buying a bag, you didn't know how that bag was going to treat you.
Yeah.
Weed could give you the worst panic attack of your life, or it could make you pass out the moment before you go have dinner with your family. So buying from a legal dispensary is important to me because I know those products are tested. I know those products are safe, that they've gone through rigorous testing and to get to that shelf space. I also love to be in a adult environment talking about cannabis with people who are smart about it. That even someone like me who's used every dang product under the sun for cannabis and created a lot of them, I still want to talk to my budtender. I still want to know what's good, what new strain or combination of strains in my concentrate are gonna, how does that feel? How does that make you feel during the day? I can go back to that same store and buy that product again for the most part, especially a manufactured product, especially a product that's, I keep saying, apologize on this. It's been a long day. To see a pill or a product, a vape that's consistent that I can buy over and over again. It's convenient to buy online, but it's a risk, and it can be THCA from hemp, which, molecularly pretty dang similar as long as it's not converted. A synthesized product has a bunch of other stuff in it I'm not messing with. Cannabis we've used for thousands of years. There's a feeling, an acceptance of it, and it doesn't poison your body. We don't know what the long-term effects of minor cannabinoids in isolation could be. We simply don't. And while it's easier to buy it online because of the regs, I'm going to go to a dispensary. I'm going to keep getting what I know, what I trust, that's something that I feel confident and safe using on a daily basis.
Now, just to provide a little clarification for people here, we are discussing the products you can buy online, which are what we call, quote unquote, intoxicating hemp products. So these are federally legal under the 2018 Farm Bill. And by legal, I mean through a loophole, more or less, where they didn't specify specifically what was restricted. All they specified was Delta-9 THC, right?
Mission of law doesn't make it legal. So we're simply basing an entire regulatory, quote, regulatory framework of self-regulation around 6 sentences in a 600-page bill.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I like to point out when it comes to this sort of thing is brewing your own beer, believe it or not, is legal in all 50 states.
Yes.
Anybody who wanted to make their own beer could do it. They could then, if they wanted to, give that beer to their friends or sell that beer to their friends. Yet
selling will be a little. Selling's is the line.
Maybe under the table selling a little.
We've had a lot of family and gifting.
Yeah.
You can gift.
Yes. Right. My point is, I could make a Delta-8 mixture in my basement, fill up some cartridges with it, set up an online store, and ship them out from my basement. No testing, no oversight required.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
I'm accurate in saying that's how the intoxicating hemp industry works.
Yeah, to about 2/3 of the country currently. A number of states have enacted laws to try to reel this back.
About like 14 states or so?
Yeah, about 14 states that have put some law on the books. Colorado's one of them. California famously just had a big to do about it. And yeah, a number of other states will continue that trend. I have to believe that.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is anybody can make beer. The only difference between making your beer and giving it to people and making intoxicating hemp products and giving it to people is more or less the website that you're selling it on. That's the only difference between that and the illicit market.
Yes.
Twax Talk is brought to you by Twax, by The Clear. If you don't know, Twax is infused pre-rolls utilizing full premium flower, never shake or trim, combined with the well-known flavors of oil provided by The Clear to create some incredible tasting pre-rolls like lime sorbet or banana cream or some of the classics like OG and lemon haze. If you live in a state with legal cannabis access, go to your dispensary and keep an eye out for Twax on the shelves. For me personally, just like James is saying, when I'm going to a liquor store, I know that the bottles of alcohol that are on those shelves have been tested and more or less approved for sale. That obviously if I drink the whole bottle, I'm going to run into some issues. But
well, you're not going to get methanol poisoning as we used to.
For the most part, it is quote unquote like safe for consumption, as safe as alcohol can be. Whereas if I go into a head shop and they're selling Delta-8 products or THCA products.
Crazy weird gummies behind the counter.
Exactly.
Some Mucinol in
there isn't a website I can go to that's going to tell me that any of those brands are reputable. There isn't, in most cases, a QR code that I can scan that's going to take me to a certificate of analysis that proves that it was tested, which can also still be fake.
Well, that was the funny thing. This is a crazy story. I was down in Medellin, Colombia. Down in South America. I was at a mega mall, like a beautiful mall with high-end retailers.
I'm surprised they still exist.
Right? And it was a popular thing to be. And right in the middle, in one of the kiosks, I'm not going to name the brand, but it's blank blank CBD. And I see this huge stand of products. I go up there like, I gotta learn what's up with this. And
the initials happen to be CW?
No, not them. They're another angle of the industry, I think. And I've worked closely with them and know them quite well. I think they're doing it right. This is it's like you brought up a great point. This is not to say in any way, shape, and form that all CBD manufacturers who are making intoxicating products aren't doing the best that they can.
Correct.
There are a number of companies that I've personally worked with and I've helped people, been with them as they were founding these that are founded on very scientific, safe principles. This is a simple review of the potentiality of what you're buying not being as guaranteed as a state-tested, tracked, seed-to-sale market.
Yep.
Excuse me, it's age-gated. It was when in Colombia, it went in and I scanned some of these codes on the boxes. I want to know what's in them. I couldn't get these things to pull up. And when I did, it was like a generic one that from
interesting 3
years ago. I'm like, what's that's not the batch.
Yeah.
I want to know what batch that is. And in the regulated market, You can go back to that store. That store can pull up that metric tag that product was carried on and follow that tag all the way back to its source through every one of its testing cycles. What did it come up in? How's it looking? That, to me, makes me feel like finally, after, 30-something years of life in this, around this stuff, it's finally not safe, but it's a more known quantity. We used to buy things that quite literally still had mold growing on it, and you could see it.
Yeah.
And you just pick through it and smoke it.
Or you just had no idea that it was
Or you
mold.
had no idea it was mold.
Oh my gosh, extra trichomes.
Oh God, those days. And talk about education, the need for education. We need to start showing pictures. We got to say, hey, if you see this, even from a regular dispensary, and the regulated dispensaries, in all fairness, sometimes have things miss.
Yep.
It's not a perfect system yet. It needs to be developed.
Well, and that's what I wanted to actually speak on is if I go to a dispensary, and I would say the most inconsistent thing when it comes to the cannabis industry is the flower.
Yeah.
Because if you're growing from seed, if you're growing from seed, you're going to have variety. You can grow one seed that becomes your mother plant and cut clones off of it to get as close to the original as possible and have that consistency. But the reality is, like, it's a plant that has genomic expressions or genetic expressions, however you want to say it.
In the same room, you could have the same genetics, and because of the airflow on one side of the room or light levels,
exactly,
you could have two levels of effect.
But really what it comes down to is if I buy some flour from a dispensary, I go home and open it, and I do see mold, I can bring that back to the dispensary and feel confident that something will actually be done about it.
And I can help other customers.
Yes. I could report it to the MED, which is the Marijuana Enforcement Division for Colorado. And they will send out an email to anybody who's registered saying, hey, we just had a recall on these products from this company doing business as this name. And you can feel confident that, okay, something's actually being done about this, and I can feel a little safer about the products I'm purchasing.
And they break it down by batch. So we're not saying like, oh, this grower is always shit. Like, so,
it's this one batch was bad.
This one batch. And to be able to have that recall ability, to publish that, to inform the consumers.
Yes. And now this is a question that I would be happy to be wrong on. I'm hoping you can tell me, but if I purchased a Delta 8 vape online and say it just made me start coughing up a lung and I got sick afterwards, is there anybody, any agency that I can go to report this to that would do something about it?
I would, in a way. I would attempt, and this is in most state markets, I would simply say, one, you'd report it. You'd want to report it immediately to the company. So hopefully they act in good faith and pull the rest of these products off the shelves or retest that batch. You're very well off. Some people we don't know this yet, could have a reaction to Delta 8. So they finally got a CBD pen that actually had Delta 8 in it. They were buying ones that didn't, We've seen those around. We've seen tests and proof of that. I would take that product and go to two places. One, it would be the health department of your city or your local jurisdiction. You want to make sure that if these products are in the same stores, because a lot of salespeople are selling regionally, they make sure that these products, if they're getting people sick, aren't continuing to be sold.
Yeah.
The other person I would talk to is the Attorney General. This is going to be, they are the watchdog for us consumers. They hold bad companies accountable. And that's where you'd need to go. But is there a formal system that'll dissuade it? When you go to the AG's office, in a way, you could be looking at a 10-month investigation, right? You're not getting immediate results. Health department, also online on forums. We need to be talking about this. We need to hear what's working. I want to hear on this flip side of that, I want to hear the good news that somebody took that and had a massive health benefit or effect.
Yeah.
And they go, what do we do in this batch? Oh my gosh, we had a combination of C4, CBD, and HHC, and whatever, and that hit the mark. Maybe that drives studies. Maybe that drives growth. There's going to be a lot of positive with it, but for now, if I'm going to consume something as frequently as I want to consume cannabis, it's going to be clean. It's going to be clean, and I'm going to stay away from that. For me, at least personally, the Delta 8.
And now to share my opinion, I don't want to be the guy on the high horse or standing on the side of the fence where the grass is greener and saying, don't buy any of these products because it's just like the illicit market. When the reality is every single person who works in legal cannabis industries today, more than likely came from the illicit market, had experiences with the illicit market. Their only source of supply for cannabis was the illicit market. So I get it. People want their cannabis products, and seeing them online, being able to get them shipped to your house seems like a really enticing
Especially in
and
illegal
legal
states.
way to do it.
Yeah, especially if you're in Idaho.
Exactly. If you're in a state where you don't even have medical, like I can see how appealing that is. And the reality that it comes down to is buying intoxicating hemp products online or at a head shop isn't much different than shopping the illicit market. It just has nicer packaging and it's sold in a store or online instead. There's nobody doing oversight and the safety and everything like that. So my ending note would just be explore your options. You do have the option to drive over state lines, visit another state, not bring anything back with you.
But enjoy it there.
Yes, enjoy it there.
Also, research your CBD companies.
Yes.
Research them. Good ones have transparency. Good ones will show you pictures of where they work. They're COAs. They're highly talented teams, and they are out there. So,
Exactly.
we're looking at it. We have a lot of developments. Not going to get into politics on this one because this ain't a policy talk.
No.
Thank the gods. But we're going to, I think, wrap it from here. That was an excellent synopsis and lays it out. And, I hope to see active engagement in the comment section because this is a hot button issue.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
If you had to take away anything from this episode, it's just do your research, do your due diligence, make sure what you're putting into your body is something you want to be putting into your body. And if you ever find a product that doesn't do what it says, and God forbid it hurts you somehow, figure out how you can report it and do something about it, because that's going to be what drives the industry forward until governments decide to start doing something about it.
And they will. Trust me.
Yeah.
2025 is going to be a fun year. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for watching this episode of Twax Talk, and we will catch you in the next one. Twax Talk is brought to you by The Clear Brands. Started in 2013 in Colorado, for over a decade, The Clear has been providing top shelf premium distillate vapes to a wide range of markets across the country. If you're looking for a vape that provides the best experience possible without cutting corners, you want to try The Clear Brands. Now, when it comes to distillate, none of it is created equally. You can find $5 distillate and you can find higher end distillate like The Clear. And the difference really comes down to how it's processed. And the reality is that cheaper distillate, they're not putting as much effort and time into processing it, and you're getting a less clean, pure product in the end that's not going to taste as good. It's going to burn more quickly. It's going to clog up more quickly. And in the end, you're going to end up just wasting money on a low tier product. So if you're interested in a cartridge or an all-in-one that's going to last longer, taste better until the last drop, thanks to the premium hardware that The Clear provides, head over to your local dispensary in a legal recreational state and ask your budtender if they carry vapes by The Clear.